it's Shay. Welcome back to the channel where I talk about beauty, nursing, and lifestyle. Today I am coming to you guys very raw, very authentic, very to the point. We are going to be talking about me 1 week post FNP boards. So of course I'm going to let you guys know if I passed or not. Of course we're going to talk about what I use, but more importantly we're going to talk about mistakes I made during my studying and what I would recommend when you're getting ready for your FNP board specifically. So I will go into detail to tell you guys which boards I took, why I chose it, how I prepped, etc. That's all going to be included in this video. And of course, before we get into that, let's roll the tape to see how I did and where I ended up. Let's go. Long time no talk, y'all. Y'all see y'all girl got new glasses, different hair, everything, guys. So it is 2 days before my boards. I am freaking out, like freaking out. What have I done so far? I did my Fitzgerald review, not last weekend but the weekend before. That was 2 intense days of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. review of just all systems and all things. And then I carried on that review of systems into Monday with pediatrics. They had that online. And some maternal health stuff also. So I booked up last week and I got to the point in the middle of the week where I was just like, you know what? It's the same feeling I had when I used to test in school. Like, you feel like you're studying so much. I'm trying to keep the information, but I was to a point where I'm like, I need to just go ahead and take this test because I know this information. I know I got it, and I need to put my knowledge into the test before I start to get weary. And I am very weary. So you guys see my house looks a mess. That's what it is right now. I got the stitch braids because you gotta look good to feel good. And I'm here doing practice questions. I'm writing things down. I got my little setup. So today is Monday. Tomorrow I plan not to look at anything but just key stuff. I'm gonna try to like organize today what is key stuff. Like literally memorization stuff that I want to remember for tomorrow. So like charts, things like that. And then Wednesday, y'all, let's pray. I'm going to speak it into existence. God is within me. I will not fall. We're going to bang this out. But I'm so nervous, y'all. Like, I'm just here taking my notes, going through these questions. I did a 150 question test, as y'all can see here on Leak today. Leak has an online component now, and I got a 90%. I was shook if, y'all. I was shook if. I try not to use that, but I took this. I took a Fitzgerald post test and got an 85. So far, I'm doing, like, when I test, I'm testing the way I want to. Now, the leak questions, some of these I've seen before, so I'm not going to lie. That kind of helped me with some of them. And it's not going to be like that on the board. So that's why I'm not like, oh, my God, I'm going to be fine. Like, I still got that pit in my stomach. But I went out to eat breakfast with my mom. Came back, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do a quick study session. I'm watching some of my favorite bloggers. I haven't been on YouTube in a while, obviously, but y'all, I'm going to take y'all with me. So hopefully I pass, because I'm going to take y'all with me and I'm going to go in and come out. So this will be continued, but this is just studying, and I'll see y'all soon. Hey y'all. Oh, my chest hurts. Oh, it is not a STEMI. I am here getting ready to go in for my exam. My exam is scheduled at 1:30. It is 12:57. I'm gonna go in at like 1:05, 1:10. I have brought my Fitzgerald book just to go over a few little, I know I don't advise you do this, but I know the type of person I am, and if I don't do it, I just feel more comfortable. So last little remote stuff I went over before going in. There was a little table about some of the vaccine interactions. I went over a little bit of pneumonia, even though I know I got pneumonia in the bag, and just some older adult stuff also, and some of the meds and pharmacology. So I'm gonna go in, guys. I'm praying that this will go smooth. I've been listening to my inspirational music. My song for today is You Will Win by Jacqueline Carr. And that's it. I didn't tell anybody I was coming today because I was just so nervous. I did make sure I spoke to my mom, but I didn't necessarily tell her I was coming. So, y'all, my stomach hurts so bad. Somebody just got their car going in there. I hope I don't see nobody I know, because that's gonna make me more nervous. But this is it, y'all. So hopefully when I come back in this car, it will be a positive vibe. God got me. I already know God got me, regardless of what happens, but I know God has me. What is meant for me is meant for me, and that is what is going to happen today. So we got this. It's about to be FNP time. Let's go. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Y'all, I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe. Like, I just want to cry right now. Y'all, it is here. It says I freaking passed. Let me tell y'all right now, that test was the hardest test I took in my life. And some of the stuff on there, child, like, I did not see that stuff in my studies. I'm like ready to just go flip some books right now, but I don't even care about a book right now. I'm just so excited. I just text my mama. All right, guys, so I probably scared you in that clip. First of all, I do want to mention that whatever way you go, whether you pass or you did not pass, even though these are entry-level exams, they are still hard. They're still meant to challenge you, and they still make you critically think outside the box. Of course, you guys know they throw in all those research questions as well, and instead of them being just like research questions, they really will throw you off your tail wagon, because I literally had to stop for a minute, breathe, realize that some of these questions aren't even supposed to be on this test, and then continue it in order to keep my sanity. So just, if you don't pass the first time, you will pass. And just look at it this way, you kind of have a blueprint for what you're preparing yourself to get into. So do not be discouraged. You will pass. You get yourself ready, you prep. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did, and hopefully I'll be able to help you. So let's just get down to the nitty gritty. I'm going to try to keep it simple, 1 week post boards, but I'm also going to try to be as real as possible with this. First thing everybody wants to know is, what did you use? What did you use to pass your board, Shay? So I'm going to tell you guys, my first mistake was pulling from so many sources. When I first started prep, like I told you guys, I did a soft prep first, like in March, April, and then I went heavy duty when I came back from vacation in June. The soft prep was not even purposeful, because one, it was so far back from when I actually took my boards, and two, it was too many sources. Find yourself 2 solid sources and go with that. If you can find 1 solid source, I think that is what you should do. But I need questions. Like, I need questions to ask me and to guide me, so I kind of know how to answer them. So the first thing I used was Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald came with a prep package, so I got the prep examination book. Do not read this whole book. Do not do it. It's too much. It's very good for practice. It's very good for knowledge. If you don't have a good knowledge base, you're not going to pass either way. Very good for that, but not good for trying to cram this into your study weeks. You can use it when you're like studying to go back and look for fundamental information, but I don't suggest you sit down and read this whole book. It's crazy. But I used this. I also got a workbook that I worked through, and then we had a review course that we did on a Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. that also kind of guided us. Do I think this was fundamental to me passing? I think it was for my knowledge. I think it brushed up on a lot of things that I hadn't seen since I did adult, because you guys know I did peds over the, the winter semester. So I think it definitely was able to amp me up and, kind of refresh those areas where I might have lacked a little bit too. So I think it was helpful. I really appreciated Fitzgerald, and I think it was fundamental to me getting the pass that I got. You don't have to go Fitzgerald. There's tons of other things out here, but I do suggest that you go to something that is very knowledge based, but I also make sure you go to something that has a review course, whether it's Barkley, whether it's Fitzgerald. I heard of Latrina Walden being great. A lot of my friends passed with that. Sarah Michelle is another review. I heard whatever you use, just make sure you do a review course. I think the review course really helps tie everything together, and it also is a good like confidence booster, because after you do the review course, you're like, oh, I knew all that information. So it just kind of gets your wheels turning and gets you ready and into exam prep mode. So the second thing I used, this is not a stranger to any of you guys on my channel, was Leak. So after I would do, like, I broke up all my systems: cardio, musculoskeletal, I can't even talk, respiratory. I go on Fitzgerald, I dig my stuff out, I do a little content, and then I go back into Leak and I do the intensive review. I review that chapter, and then Leak had an online code where I went in and I would do questions in that chapter to kind of spruce up, see where I'm going, see what I'm getting wrong, read the rationales. And honestly, guys, when I finish my boards, I'm the student that in school, I would get a question wrong on a test, and as soon as I got out, I went to the textbook to go find it. If there was a book to go find what I did in boards or something that I seen that I was like, wonder what the answer was to that question, because of course you don't get the answers at the end. This was the book. I was able to go when I got home and kind of flip through here and find out what direction certain questions went in, or what was it looking for from me. So I feel like this is very good at getting you board mind ready, if that makes sense. Okay guys, sorry if the camera looks weird. My camera had overheated, so I had to let it cool down before I came back. So I showed you guys the 2 sources that I think were most fundamental to my prep. I took about a 4 to 5 week block. I worked part-time, so that means I worked 2 days a week, and then I worked another day at my home care. But the day I worked at home care, I still studied. So every day I took a system and I studied it. I did Fitzgerald, I went into Leak, did my review, and then I went on Leak Online and did the questions. A lot of people say you cannot study with the questions, but I feel like the purpose of the questions, as long as you're reading the rationale, I think it really does set you up for what you're going to see on the day of your boards. So as far as the exam I took, my credentials, and how I chose, I did take the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners. I took the AANP exam, 150 questions, 3 hours, clinical base, multiple choice. Do your research. Some people feel like the ANCC is best for them. I thought the AANP was best for me because I am a very clinical heavy person. I like my clinical knowledge, and professional roles, while it's something that we all should be familiar with, it wasn't really something that I was confident in. But of course, if I had to take the ANCC, I would have made sure I did the study prep like I did in order to be confident in that. So it just depends. You have to do your own research to figure out which way to go. I was told personally that jobs do not look for one in particular. The ANCC, you get board certified or BC after the FNP. The AANP, you get just -C. I was told jobs don't have a preference, and honestly, when I did my interviews, I asked that, and they said they didn't even know there was a difference in between the two, and they asked me what the difference was, and I just explained the exams, and they said, well, you're certified either way. So at least from my perspective, when I asked my potential jobs, they didn't have a preference. I hear some have a preference for BC, but I don't really know how true that is because I haven't experienced that, and I don't have friends who told me they have experienced that. So overall, guys, this is 1 week post boards. If I could tell you anything, like I said, review course I think is fundamental. No matter what way you go, no matter which one you choose, I always believe in doing your research. So as long as you do your research, you feel confident in the person who's doing the review course and the sources they use to give you the information, go for it. I think it's really a game changer in how your success will be for your boards. Make sure you dedicate your time. A lot of it is discipline. I watched everybody outside my window like a little kid having a hot girl summer while I studied, but I couldn't complain because I did spend the month of June traveling. Honestly, I wish I would have took my boards before I traveled, because I think it kind of took out of my excitement for travel, because I was thinking, like, while I was in Jamaica, while I was in Bahamas, I'm like, oh, I gotta study. So I was thinking about that. So I kind of wish I would have just took my boards and then traveled after. But either way, it worked for me. I mean, I still passed, and I'm very grateful. I'm still kind of like in shell shock. Like, everybody's like, why aren't you jumping out your seat screaming? I mean, y'all seen that first video. I was happy. I cried. I laughed. I was excited. I told my mom, my sister first, and then worked my way around to all my friends. But that's that, guys. So if you're getting ready for your boards, I want to wish you the best of luck. Make sure you look into these resources. Make sure you do your research. Find what works best for you. If you have any questions for me, let me know. I cannot go into detail of the exam. Please don't ask me questions about that. You guys know we can't do that. we can't do that. I can't go into details of the exam, but I can tell you it was 150 questions. I had 3 hours. I think I used 2 of them. And overall, I will say, for me at least, some people come out and they say it was the easiest test they took. It was not easy for me. It was hard. And I think I had to almost pull back. Even though they're trying to get you an NP mindset, I had to pull back from my nursing knowledge for some of the stuff that I did on that exam. And then some of them, they tell you they don't do low-level questions, but I'll never forget, one of my questions was like a kind of physiology question, and I was like, why is this on here? I mean, I know the answer, but it almost like gave me palpitations when I first got it, because I'm like, I don't know what it's asking. And then when I went over to test the second time, I said, oh, that's easy. I was like, maybe I was just freaking out too much. So really make sure you take your time with these exams as well, because it's made... you guys know when you take the AANP, I know 135 of those questions are scored. 15 are research questions. So those research questions are going to throw you for a loop. Don't let it knock you down. Answer your best, use your strategies, and keep it moving. But I will tell y'all, my heart was beating out my chest at the end of that exam because I did not know. But once I went back through it a second time, I was like, oh, yeah, I know this stuff. I'm like, okay, it's fine. But it doesn't take away from the anxiety of knowing that it's a major exam. So, anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Make sure you comment down below. And I will see you in my next video.